Hello everybody, and welcome to Toonkind at 12 FPS. The title of today's episode, Crossing the Clothesline. My name is Fable, and today I will be playing the Antlered King. And with me today is the wonderful, the amazing...
Hi, I'm Magic. Uh, and I'm going to be playing, Duster, the Rat Man.
Good rat, he's
He's,
a good rat man.
yeah, you're
So...
playing in this FPS.
so some things have happened, I feel we don't need to go over all of it, but some things happened. Duster is currently lacking in some clothes, and a
Um,
specific clothes item.
yeah, so basically, this is set after Little Corner of Little Corner, and during the aftermath of that game, because I wanted Antler to be able to keep the dress that the cobbler children, gave him, all of the clothes got, big sized, including Duster's cloak, which Ruby was still wearing. So,
Mm-hmm.
he's currently out of a cloak. Uh, and he doesn't want to, even though it's big size now, he doesn't want to like ruin it anymore. It's an old cloak.
It's old.
Really,
It's
it's
old.
old. It's old.
It's old as balls. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. You're not.
Exactly. Exactly. This boy's due.
It's
This boy's due for some new. I want to say some new kicks, but I feel like that's used only when referring to shoes. I don't know.
uh
I don't know
I
clothes
think
lingo.
I think that's only when referring to shoot. Yeah, threads would be the term for like actual clothing items.
We're getting the boy
If
new
it's ritual.
threads. There we go. Safety. All right, but so the start of to give a start Duster, where are you at? I imagine this
uh
is starting out at the castle as per usual.
I'm going to say Duster is. I want to say he's in the kitchen.
Kitchen. All right.
Uh,
Actually,
yeah.
cool. That makes
Just kind of want you to have you roll perception to see if you can like pinpoint exactly where Duster is, because he's definitely in the cabinets. I
oh my
think it would be
god.
funny.
I was gonna have you do perception because
Eh,
Antler's doing something else that's taken up his attention. What is Duster doing in
okay.
the cabinets?
Cabinet stuff, but I can roll. I can roll perception. I can roll perception.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you want to both roll perception, and then we can have that moment if it goes well, we can just stare at each other.
You know what? Screw it. Yeah.
That would be funny. Hold on, this is the wrong chat. This is the completely wrong
Okay.
chat.
Perception again. Yeah, perception. There we go.
18.
6.
That's a nat one.
That one. So Duster. So Duster, uh, it's not difficult to spot the antlered king. He's a you've learned this you learned this quite some time ago that stealth is not his strong suit. He doesn't make it, and he knows this. He does not make it a point to try and be stealthy. He knows it's not his strong suit, so he'll put his strengths, focus his strengths elsewhere, which is, uh, wearing bright red, or not bright red, but brighter red. Anyways, you see him walk in. He's with 18%. With an 18 perception, I'm gonna say you notice the state he is in, which isn't really a state. It's more of a or state of mind, maybe. Anyways, he looks. You think maybe slightly grumpy. You're not sure. His ears are tilted. His ears are tilted down as he's heading towards the fridge.
uh, Duster, I will. I will say it's just kind of obvious to notice that some of the cabinets are open, but it's also like probably in that way of how how some people just open cabinets and then leave them open. Yeah, it
Oh,
probably just looks like someone just left the cabinets open and
he
Duster's not even here.
Antler would absolutely assume that Ruby just left the cabinets open again. Plus he's in his head a little bit, so he does not he he again doesn't wouldn't even think to really notice to begin with. So he's heading to the fridge, opening it up, grumbling to himself a little bit as he's just looking through what they have.
Can I roll an insight on Antler?
Yeah, go ahead.
That's
Ooh,
dirty 20.
dirty 20. Yeah. I mean, you're not sure what, but something seems to be on his mind. Uh and he seems to be solving that by getting food, and he might be solving that by getting food. Maybe he's having one of those like grumpy because of food. Actually, no. With a nat 20, I would say.
That's not a nat. That's an
Or sorry,
unnatural.
sorry, unnatural 20. Bleh. It's a 20 nonetheless. Were it any lower, you'd probably think that, oh, he's grumpy because he's alive and he needs food now. No, he's grumpy because of something else, but he's trying to distract himself with food.
Uh, I imagine like looking at Antler. Duster is just on top of one of the open cabinets, like on the other side, just kind of looking over it. Uh, and he kind of like ducks his head back down, thinks for a moment, sighs to himself, and begins to traverse over the cabinets and onto the top of the fridge, uh, to look over at Antler. Uh, would Antler know? Duster's not really being stealthy about this.
If he's not being stealthy, I would say Antler would eventually glance up as he has a handful of grapes in his hand. Uh, would probably glance up, look back at the grapes, then look back up and acknowledge that, oh, Duster is here. Okay.
So, hey, boss. So, what's up?
Hmm. Currently, you.
Uh,
Antler notes as Duster is on top of the fridge.
uh, Duster just kind of stares. I would say blink, but his eyes aren't really, they're all shadowy, so they're not really visible. Uh,
And Antler just stares back, just stone cold expression.
uh,
That was a
this,
joke.
uh, Duster's ears were going to like twitch just down slightly, but uh, now they're just kind of neutral in confusion. Uh, uh, what?
Hmm. Antler's own ears just twitch for a second, and he just takes his handful of grapes, closes the fridge. He's gonna go to one of the open cabinets to grab a glass and fill it with water.
Oh, I didn't actually get the joke, but I looked in the.
Did you get it? Oh, oh.
I didn't get the. Me and Magic did not get the joke. I looked.
Yeah, cause you know
Looked in
what's
the
up.
gallery.
It was, cause you know what's up. Oh, it's cause Duster is up because he's on top of the fridge because he's taller. You know, like a dad joke.
I, I didn't get it, and then I just saw dad joke in the gallery. I'm just like, dad joke. What? Oh wait.
Yeah, it was a dad joke. It was a
I
dad
didn't even notice.
joke.
Oh my god.
Does it take a second for is that when Duster realizes that it was a joke?
I think it is. And I do honestly think Dustin lets out kind of like it's like an under the breath like startled laugh and just like puts one of his hands over top of his snoot, and it's just oh jeez. He did not expect that. He did not expect that at all. Uh
Antler is just being quiet. He's not saying anything more. He's just getting a drink.
uh,
I would say with still riding on the 20 that you got. You knows that Antler with it when his ear had twitched, his eyebrows kind of furrowed slightly, or his face pinched a little bit. It's like, oh yeah, he made a joke. He was not expecting to make a joke. He's just gonna walk past that and pretend he didn't do it.
Oh, Antler. All right. Uh, Duster. Duster. What do you do after getting dad joked? God.
I think this is the
Uh,
part where I roll perception again, just to see if
uh,
Antler notices anything about
yeah,
our
go ahead. Roll
about our
perception.
about our dusty boy.
That our Dusty boy. That's
23. Much better.
23. Um, well, before it was just that he was here. Uh, hmm. 23. 23 is a lot. Uh, all right. All right. First of all, he's not wearing a cape. Uh, like at all. You've seen him like maybe a few times this past, you know, however long since it's been that game and Duster's cloak got, transformed. Uh, and you guys had the conversation with Moria about the tiny settlement.
I
It
imagine it's been
it's
about a week.
it's been a hot minute.
Yeah.
Uh, but with that 23, uh, I want to make you have a roll, like do a companion like insight roll with this,
Okay.
just to be able to like, yeah,
I can do that. 11.
an
Could I
11.
could I argue advantage on the insight since I got a 23? I got a 23 on the
Yeah, yeah, go
perception.
ahead. Go ahead.
Since these are being companion rolls. 11 again. Wow.
Only 11.
Okay.
Um, all right, that is above average. Uh,
It's above a 10.
um, Antler. Uh, you can notice that, especially around like Duster's, it's kind of hard to see because Duster is small and a tiny on top of a fridge. Uh, but his lining, like near his forearms, seems off, but he doesn't look visibly stressed in any way. Uh, his lines seem sketchier than normal around like his forearms. Uh, like I remember the name of how body parts work. I totally do. I think it's the shins. Shins. Yes, those are what they're called.
Ah.
It's just little sketch marks in those areas that kind of look. It kind of looks like someone would be like, you know how people like draw in an art program and they draw like the same line like 20 different times because no, that line doesn't look good. No, that line doesn't look good, but it never connects to anything.
Yup.
Kind of looks like that.
All right. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and say Antler, having gone through some changes recently, uh, and also just being old as all heck, is not unfamiliar with what this this is appearing to look like. Uh, that said, this is also Antler.
That said, this is also Antler.
Yeah, this is also Antler, who's an asshole. But you know what? Antler's like I said, going through some changes, and against his better judgment is after he's gotten his water, he's going to turn more fully and now is focusing on Duster
Mhm.
with a bit of a bit of a studying gaze, and he doesn't say anything, but he's just, Duster, you are now being perceived.
Hmm. Hmm. Like perceived with a capital letter and a trademark?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Perceived TM.
Uh kind of want to roll wisdom to see if he becomes nervous at that because huh.
Do it. Roll it.
What is my wisdom
Him
save?
nervous boy. Roll it.
Nervous boy. Let's roll a wisdom. That's a total of an 11.
Not
You know
terrible.
how he wasn't, you know how he wasn't visibly nervous earlier? Uh, his ears kind of like do a twitch down. Not fully down, but like just a few. Uh, I want to say like millimeters because that would actually be the scale for this. Uh, and
Yeah, Antler's going to watch this for a moment. Not completely surprised. This rat has usually been nervous, though. When he notices that, he's not surprised by it, but once he notices that Duster is starting to look more nervous, his ears flick a little bit, and he's always frowning. But you get the sense that the frown deepens ever so slightly. You're not sure why.
hmm,
And Antler goes, "Hmm, your cloak is still with Ruby, isn't it?
uh, yeah.
You've not decided to get it back."
I I mean it's it's old, probably not probably not by your standards, but it's
It is aged.
yeah.
Hmm. You'll be needing a new one then, I assume.
Uh, y- yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, maybe I don't.
Nantler thinks about it for a moment. Where would you usually go about getting new clothing?
Uh, uh, Duster gives a bit of a blank stare, and uh, well, most of it's design. Uh, but I mostly it's just I the things I put together myself.
Hmm. So things
Uh,
you find along the way, though I imagine whatever design change you're currently go through won't produce a new cloak.
uh, no, the cloak isn't actually part of my original design.
Hmm.
Uh, it was the it was given to me, but yeah,
Hmm. Well, we hardly have smaller cloaks lying around here. Hmm.
I'd be more surprised if we do. Uh,
Is the
I
merchant still in town?
uh, Dust. I will say Duster's ears kind of they were in like a sort of half down state, but they kind of like perk up at that, like merchant. uh, you didn't say merchant out loud. That's just me.
Endless.
And
Oh no, go ahead.
uh, and he says, I believe so. Why do you ask?
Well, it's my understanding that this merchant does business with tinies. It would make sense. It's not a horrendous leap to say he would likely have cloaks of tiny size.
I he, yeah, they would. Uh,
Hmm.
but I
What business do you have today?
uh uh Duster glances just towards the cabinets and just goes, nothing important. I was just looking for sugar, I think.
What for?
Uh, just because I could.
Hmm. Well, it was. Well, I think it could wait for a few moments. That besides, I don't think we currently have much. Hmm.
Ah,
And he actually glances down towards the fridge. I will likely need to do another run for food supplies anyway. So come along then. And Antler will turn and will take a sip of his water before placing it down. Still has his grapes with him, and is going to head towards the door.
uh, du- oh god, Duster is small. Duster is small. Uh, I'm, God, I just, I want to roll like an acrobatics or an athletics to see how like graceful he goes off of this ledge
Okay.
on the fridge because um yeah, Antler is a big
Yeah,
um
and he is a
he
tall one at that.
yeah, with long strides. uh I'm gonna roll an athletics just to see how well Duster gets on this fridge to catch like off this fridge and catches up. This will hopefully not 17. uh I will say there's a scrabbling noise of like claws hitting metal because that's what happens when you like scramble on fridges. Uh, and but Duster does appear like next to you, not soon after. Uh,
I
but also very small rat.
no, yeah, and Duster, you can assume Antler realizes this because he doesn't even get to the door of the kitchen before and you notice one of his ears was like in your direction, listening to you catch up, and he pauses at the door of the kitchen and just sighs, and he will kneel down and offer his hand out. Come along then.
Uh, Duster uh looks at the hand for a second. Uh, and then slowly steps onto the hand.
And Antler will then in turn raise his hand towards the fur of his cloak.
Uh, all right. Duster will step off into the like the fuzz of the coat, and for just for shenanigans, I'm gonna say he just sinks fully into it and just disappears for a moment.
Oh yeah, think of it as it's a full. It's like disappearing into a bush.
Uh,
It is
and
very
there's
soft though.
it is it is very soft though, and but just like a second later, there's like the bush shaking sound as Duster pops his head out of the cloak. It's, there's now a very small rat. Not actually small rat. This rat is like New York City sized rat.
I just imagine just like his. It's just his head poking out of the fluff.
Yeah.
Roll. Could you roll perception for me?
Okay. Roll perception. What is my perception modifier again?
I don't
Keep
know.
forgetting.
I don't know. I'm not looking at your sheet.
Ah.
Oh, 24. Oh, 24. Yeah, with a 24, you Antlers watch this and you notice just and he hums after when Duster pokes his head out and you just see it's so slight, but you just see the slightest upturn at the corner of his lips, just like the slightest grin before it quickly turns back into his signature frown and he stands up and starts walking.
uh. uh. Huh. Duster looks vaguely surprised at that because that is not what he was expecting at all. Uh.
Antler looks very grumpy as he's walking.
This man had one good thought and then immediately went, "No, wait, I'm supposed to be evil." And
It's like, oh, that was actually rather cute. No.
uh,
So,
Duster, I think Duster will just his like full head was popped out before, but like he kind of burrows down slightly more into the fur, so like only the top of his head is peeking out.
aw,
Uh, yeah,
little rat snoot.
it's a little rat snoot.
Just a little rat
At
snoot.
least
Just boop.
at least until the town gets in sight, because once the town gets in sight, yeah, nope, Duster's out. Goodbye. Not even. He's not gonna risk it, Duster. No, no thanks.
Wait, what do you mean? Like he's gonna like
Like, fully like go into the fluff of the fur,
ah
because even
ah
on the off chance someone noticed, Duster does not want to take that chance.
well, I guess a good thing that well, one, as I said before, the fur it's actually very soft and it's well kept which shouldn't be too surprising because this is Antler we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's up, but conveniently, it's also dark. It's also a very dark shade of red, which is good for Duster, who already has pretty muted colors to hide in. Either way, I'm gonna. I am gonna have you roll one more perception
Yeah.
as we are entering town. That's a dirty 20.
Unnatural 20.
Yeah, dirty 20. Yeah. So, I mean, you'd already seen the royal guards that Lady Mazzy had brought with her on the first day. There seems to be more now, and there's less. And you
Hmm.
notice that there are less Little Corner residents, villagers walking about,
Mm.
and less stores open as well, which is
Mm.
which is odd because this is a trading village, and they're trade is a big thing here. There should be
Mm.
even the mar even you pass by the street that leads into the marketplace. Even that, when you perk up an ear, you don't hear as much noise coming from it.
Mm. That's not suspicious at all.
Not at all. Antler doesn't seem
Hmm.
to be reacting to it either. He's perceiving it along with you, but he is not reacting to it in the slightest.
Hmm.
As he is focusing on heading towards the merchants. I'm forgetting what it's called.
It's the best way, like the best word for it is sort of like a caravan wagon.
Yeah, caravan wagon. That's what I was thinking. I was
Uh,
just like, I couldn't think of word.
I don't have a picture. I forgot to message Liz to see if I could share their picture of the merchant. Uh,
I just imagine
but
like a miniature house on wheels. That's what I've been picturing.
um, that's I can try painting like a picture for this. All right. The merchant's shack. The merchant's shop is a what seems to be a some sort of like magical self-driving caravan, because honestly, I cannot imagine this person having any sort of like horses. I apologize. Um, but it's mostly this black, and I wouldn't say white, but it's everything looks to be made out of this either hard paper or cardboard. Um,
Oh.
Sometimes it's mostly this pitch black color, but sometimes you can catch the glints of like the corners when they hit the light different, and like screws and bolts that hold some things together. Um,
Oh, I like that.
there's a small like stand out front for like obviously to put the items down on, uh, and it sinks into the back, and you can see stores of like swords, uh, typical items that you'd find in a merchant's shop, like just one of those general traders where they kind of buy and sell anything, uh,
Uh,
at certain prices, so they make a profit, but it's still basically anything.
hmm.
Uh,
Well, Antler will come up
uh,
towards the front. He will stop, however, and
would you like me to describe the merchant? And also, can you roll a perception check?
yeah, let me roll perception. And yes, please describe the merchant because I don't fully remember the last description.
All right.
Where's my
The
perception?
merchant, you
7.
didn't actually see the merchant last time. You saw the tiniest version of the shop, and the merchant is very distinctly a big. Uh, uh, can you roll me a different perception check? These are two separate checks.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Boop.
for two separate things about this shop. Okay,
7
you
and a
know it's the second one.
17.
All right. You don't get anything with the 7. I'm sorry.
Ah.
Uh, but with the 17, even before you really like clock the merchant, you can see this kind of faintish light coming from the top of the shop, kind of like candles. Um,
Hmm.
and you can see people moving, tinies moving, because one of the merchant's things is tinies are just considered normal here. And because they are normal, no one really questions why, it's it's sort of like people assume it's a gimmick. You know how like places have gimmicks of like tiny assistants?
Yeah.
People just assume it's that and don't question why they're here.
Hmm.
They're just tiny assistants for this merchant.
Okay, yeah, I get that.
And
But Antler knows otherwise.
but Antler knows otherwise. Uh the merchant themselves is, I would say, not the tallest tune, but definitely reasonable to be able to. You can, seeing like how you are in the shop, you can see a small, what sort of looks like a bucket, uh, that has like, it's a bucket hanging from the ceiling, and in the ceiling there's a small hole in it where you can probably imply gold pieces are dropped through into the bucket. Uh, and there's also the little, what looks kind of like a hatch on the ceiling that also is the hatch for the tiny store. Uh, the merchant themselves is a completely flat tune. Uh, you, Antler, being knowledgeable of, actually, nah, you didn't roll high enough on your perception for that. Uh,
No.
it's they are a completely flat tune. Their head is in profile. Um, all of their design, most of their design is a completely black silhouette, with white gloves, with like a thin like blackish outline, full hand visible at all times. Uh, also both hands facing the same size. Uh, wearing a wide brimmed top hat, uh, having those like, I don't know what they're called, but it's like the ruffles that you have like on the chest area, when you're wearing like like a tuxedo jacket. They're also
Oh,
wearing
yeah.
a tuxedo jacket, and they are standing on a lighted background, and their head is in profile. They don't have any details on their face except their eye, which is just a like a white sort of, it's a white eye shape, and the only signifier that it, like the pupil is just a black circle. Uh,
Alright.
and they stand there a moment before waving, going, "Oh, hello there. What can I get for you today?"
At that, um, yes, hello. Hello, one moment, if you would. And Antler's going to, raise his shoulder a little bit, the one that, Duster is on,
Uh,
to get Duster's attention, basically. Like, okay, it's your turn. I brought you here.
uh, uh, Duster. Oh boy. Uh, oh boy. How do I want to play this? All right. Hold on. Let me take a drink of water real fast
Okay.
as I think about this.
I mean, does Duster come out? Does he stay hidden? Like, nope, he's not coming out? Or.
Duster doesn't fully come out, but his head kind of pops through the surface, just to look at the merchant. And I don't have stats for the merchant, so I'm just gonna roll a flat d20,
Okay.
for a history check. That's a 10.
It's
Like
average.
average. Uh, I'm gonna. All right. the the merchant, I will say, gives a sort of like fond look to Duster. Uh, doesn't recognize Duster, but also Duster is a tiny, and that just default puts you on the merchant's good list.
Yeah,
Uh,
A- yeah. Antler figures this. Once he sees the merchant look at, maybe not recognize, but acknowledge Duster being a tiny. Like, yes, I have a tiny with me. That should be self-explanatory for what I say next. And what he says next is, my friend here is in need of a cloak.
a cloak, a cloak. I assume one of smaller stature.
Mm,
Uh,
yes.
and without seemingly even giving a signal, um, there's you can with still that 17 on your tinies check, uh, you can hear the sort of like rustling, and it would probably just be like normal speak for tinies, but as a big, it's kind of muffled and sounds kind of like whispering and also very squeaky. Uh, you know how like, all right, it's just a lot of kind of like squeaky noises. It's hard to tell, uh, but
Antler's ears still perk up and swivel into the direction of said noise.
it's behind the upper walls of the shop.
Hmm.
Uh, it's fairly muffled at keeping out sound, but these people are probably yelling orders. So,
Ah. And
and
what's the merchant doing during while this tiny
uh,
yelling is happening?
uh, sort of eyes like flickering up to the top of the top shelf of the shop that you can't see as all right, uh all right, just give them a moment. We don't really have people asking a lot about this sort of stuff directly, and we don't really have that prepared.
Hmm.
um and only a second later, there's a sort of clothesline that drops. It has very small sort of it has very small like fabric clips that you'd see on a normal clothesline. Uh, not they're not as big as you'd probably see a normal one, but and there is a different variety of coats, cloaks, jackets, those sort of things.
Antler will an ear flicks when the tiny clothesline comes down, and he'll look at some of them until he tilts his head a bit at Duster and goes, well, go on then.
Uh, oh boy, Duster, you are given a lot of choices here. Uh,
So
oh boy,
what you want? So what you want?
oh boy, oh boy. I feel like I should roll something to see if Duster even like fully comprehends the amount of choices he has.
Oh my god, do it.
Because there's a lot.
Do
What am I
it.
rolling? What am I
Um.
rolling? I feel like I should roll another wisdom save.
Yeah, that's what my thing.
A lot,
You've been
a lot of choices.
You've been presented with the worst thing possible. Multiple choices.
Multiple choices. That's a
A
5.
5. Oh
Uh,
no. Does Duster have like a little? Has Duster's eye turned into like a little swirly symbol?
uh, I think like after a moment of like shifting his head around, yeah, kinda.
Oh boy, oh boy. Antler is going to watch this happen and just sighs. And is going to
Oh,
look back at the Tiny's clothesline. And I guess
uh,
the first thing that makes sense is to look for uh what cloaks there are.
uh, I will say I want to have merchant notice because I can do things. Uh,
Ooh.
uh. Oh, I'm sorry. This is quite a large selection, isn't it? Uh, maybe we can organize this better. Uh, that sort of eye flicker again, and the clothesline sort of disappears out of sight. All right. I suppose we should start off with type of wear. Would you like cloak, coat? Have multiple varieties. Uh,
Antler uh, lifts his shoulder again for to get to encourage Duster to answer.
uh, hmm, hmm. Kind of want to do something, but hold on. Um, all right. One, I do it. Two, I don't. That's a one. Duster. Hmm. I should, I should have Antler roll something for this.
What am I rolling?
Um,
Perception, insight.
I want to make it intelligence based.
I can do intel. I can do. Should I just roll straight intelligence then?
Roll straight intelligence.
All right, I can do that. What's my intelligence? Where is it? There it is. 7.
7. All
Ah,
right. Uh, I can't give you anything with a 7.
yeah,
All
I
right.
know. What's
Uh,
Duster doing?
Duster. You know how you could hear those like squeaking noises from the back?
Uh huh.
Uh, Duster. It's clearly still Duster's voice, but he lets out like a similar squeaking noise, and the merchant goes, "All right, cloaks it is." And all right, what about color? What color would you like? Uh, um, I,
Perhaps green like before.
I, no, I'll blue. Uh, blue. All right, all right. Um, I would say that the merchant is scribbling things down on a piece of paper. Actually, yeah, he can. There is a you can't see where he pulls it out from, but like one of his hands kind of like disappears into its side, and both of his hands are on the same side of his person, by the way. Uh, both facing the correct directions based on like hands, but uh,
He works a lot like a UPA tune.
he works a lot like a UPA tune. Sadly, you rolled a 7, so I can't go too much into it. Uh,
That's all right. Antler has already assumed that
and
Antler can assume they're a UPA,
uh,
and is not too and is either way. What kind of tune actually doesn't matter to Antler really that much. He
yeah.
didn't. He does. I'm
Uh,
sorry. He doesn't care.
there's
There,
just a completely there's a completely silhouetted piece of like paper that you'd see in like you know how like medieval pieces of paper just have like that absolutely like curled back side, like curled side, like curled ends, and it's like wavy in the middle. Yeah, he pulls out one of those. uh and like this overly large feathery quill that's also just silhouetted, uh and just is jotting notes. He probably doesn't need to, but
ah yeah.
still.
Ah yes. Curled paper and a feather pen. Both writing materials Antler is very familiar with.
uh, and merchant, merchant. So blue cloak. What about decorations? Embroidery. Maybe not pizzazz. Unless you'd like pizzazz. Uh, what? You mean like sparkly stuff? Yes, yes, sparkly stuff. No. All right, no pizzazz. Uh, crosses something off of the list. Uh,
Antler's just standing there.
I'm so sorry, Antler.
He's
Uh,
just he originally his plan was just to drop Duster off so he could go to the market and get like food supply, but but the merchant noticed him before he could do that, so he's kind of just stuck here.
I apologize, Antler. I really do.
Yeah, you really, really, really mucked up his plans.
but also I don't want to sit here.
No, no, I know, I know. Let's. How about so we could save you from having to talk to yourself this whole FPS. Uh,
Yeah,
let's go ahead and skip and say they've gone through the checklist,
gone
and
through the checklist. There's like a few that's been pulled out. Uh, some more like traditional looking cloak styles. Some a few that kind of there is like two jackets in this selection just in case one of them looked interesting. Uh, because that can happen sometimes. Like you don't think you're looking for it, but you look at it and then you go, oh, like I like that. Uh,
sorry,
but
I'm making a few rolls as this time is passing. Oh shit. Okay,
that's
I made.
I'm
I was making a history check and a perception check. Antler was checking in back on Duster just to check how the line work is, and a history check to see if he's noticed the patchy line work before. That's 20 and a
uh
21.
like for Duster in particular for
Yeah,
before.
yeah, yeah.
Um, hmm. Okay. The line the sketchy line work is still there, but it's that's a 21 on insight, isn't it?
No, it was perception.
Okay. 21 on perception. The lions they've gone out of like that initial trying to like add stage and are just kind of like whew, I'm gonna roll just something real fast.
Alright.
Just to see. Um, what is happening with my boy? That's a 3. Alright. Um, a wonderful 3. Uh,
What was that for? What was that roll? Magic?
um, I will say, it looking at it, it is getting sketchier, but also like the color on his forearms and on his shins are already that kind of like off-white, kind of a little bit stained, but it seems saturated, and the stains seem to be gone. Uh,
Mm.
and it is slowly getting sketchier, especially around like the middle of like the forearm, uh,
Point
just
is
like
Duster's
the
change. Duster is definitely changing.
a little bit, yes.
Alright.
Uh, it's and for if this has happened before to Duster, um, for Duster in particular, his lines have known to get sketchy when he's stressed, but uh, it's
It's.
more of like a
The,
sort of like you changed your brush and not, you know,
the,
new
the,
lines are getting added.
the history check was more of if Antler can recall back if he saw any hint of the start of this change.
Hmm. No, I
Okay.
don't think so.
Okay. Not even back with not even back during the talk with Moria. You wouldn't have noticed.
Uh,
He's trying to get. Antler is familiar with what change is currently happening, and he knows it happens for tunes. The timeline of said change can differ between tunes. He's trying to judge like how long this changing process has been going.
okay.
and if that changing process was at least starting, because back during that talk with Moria.
That is an unnatural 20, so I will give you that it probably just looked like that change in line work again when it was like that. But like looking at it now, uh how it was kind of sort of scribbly. So maybe like just starting near that conversation, but not much sooner. Uh Probably not, yeah,
Okay.
not much sooner than
Okay.
that conversation.
Antler's gonna have just one more look to see how long the merchant's taking with the cloak.
Uh I will say Duster has kind of like peeked out of your fur more as to like fully observe the now smaller selection. Uh Merchant is still talking about cloaks. And Duster is sort of like looking over his options. Uh and uh I will say just for the sake of this FPS, Duster kind of just points at one of the cloaks and I will say it's very strange how the merchant moves because this tune only has two camera angles. One facing head on, so you can see all of the merchant in profile, and one shot of just one shot of the counter where his hand just kind of like slides the item across. You know how like those those stock animations
Oh my god.
sliding it across? Yeah, it's kind of like that because he's stuck at these two angles.
Oh my god, is the merchant flash animated?
Um, no. Would you like to roll up another perception? Because
You know what? Yeah. I also remind me to. I need to roll an insight check on Duster at some point. By making a.
got it.
But for now, we'll stick with the perception. 6. Damn it.
Can you roll again, please? I can't. I can't do anything with a 6. I want to give you
13.
funky fresh facts.
13.
Okay.
It's above a 10. It's above average.
I will say, um, Antler with the 13, you can notice that the merchant is also made out of this hard paper cardboard sort of material that the rest of everything else is made out of.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and that's what I will give you with a 13. Uh,
Alright.
but yeah, it just kind of looks like he's stuck with these two camera angles, and they're just living with it. This is just how merchant is now. It's fine. Uh,
Well, as the cloak is slid toward them, I think Antler will take the initiative to pick up the blue cloak that Duster picked out, uh, and lift it up towards Duster for the rat to try on.
uh, Duster kind of peeks around to the street just to make sure. Uh, and then kind of furrow out of the cloak more. Pick it up. Um, put it on, and it it fits quite nicely. Uh, hold on, I need to look at the picture I sent for this cloak because I need to describe it for the audience. Um, because I totally have the memory to remember what it looks like.
It's a 10 on insight. Antler was checking to see if Duster approved of it or not.
It's a 10. Duster approves of it.
Okay.
It's a pretty nice looking cloak. It has Antler. It's strange. It has one of those, you know how they have like the strip of cloth that goes over the chest area.
Yeah.
You you'd probably imagine for a tiny that would be like the cloth strip would be really big because it's kind of hard to do that with like smaller cloth. But it is actually just a small size. Uh, it's plain, not embroidered, not bedazzled. Uh, just a plain cloak. Uh, it's this blue shades of blue. Uh, it's blue in color. Uh, in very good condition. Like it's been preserved and not used at all for anything. It's not torn. It's not. It's not even.
It's
Doesn't even
brand
have any.
new.
It's it's basic. Yeah, it's brand new. And I will say for you, Antler, just because you are so close to this rat, it does seem to have this sort of fur inline. Uh, but you know how styles work for tunes. As soon as like Duster fully puts this on, it kind of adopts his shading
So it
of that.
hides.
Uh, it hides the fur pretty well because all of it just kind of turns to this solid black.
But Antler
Uh,
knows it's there, and he raises an
and
eyebrow slightly and an ear twitches, but he doesn't comment.
Duster's still just kind of looking at this cloak because this is a pretty nice cloak. He doesn't even notice the look. Uh,
And I think,
and
oh, I
no,
think upon seeing that Duster seems to approve of it, Antler will turn to the merchant, and I'm just gonna roll hammer space so Antler can pull out some gold to pay the tune. 4. Yeah, he pulls out a pouch of gold, and we'll pay however much the cloak costs.
uh, the merchant. I'm not going to voice act this because my voice already doesn't like me for some reason. Uh, and I cannot do speaking styles right now. The merchant says 3 gold with a one-time discount on this because he's heard about Smalls and very much approves of your actions.
Oh,
Uh,
well, I'm not gonna roll. I'm gonna leave Antler in the confusion of why he's gonna assume that the discount is for Duster, that it's a tiny's discount or something. He's not gonna assume it is because of anything he has done. Because I mean, why would you give unless Antler purposely did something he knows of. He doesn't understand why you're gonna give him a discount. But anyways,
I
3 gold.
have a question.
Hmm.
Have you set up the wanted posters yet
Yes,
for
those
Smalls?
yes those have been set up.
Okay. Got. You're not leaving yet, right? For
Uh,
the stall.
not yet.
Okay. I'll do that when you start leaving.
All right.
But yeah, merchant takes the gold. It just kind of it's that same hand animation. This hand, by the way, doesn't like curl. It doesn't do anything. It's just like slides. So it just slides the gold in that one camera angle, and it's just gone the next camera angle. Uh,
All right.
and merchant gives a smile that's visible because it like cuts against the form, so you can see like the background basically, and there's a smile, a little small, and merchant just goes, "Thank you for doing business with us. Be sure to come by."
Hmm.
Oh, and one more thing. Could I have a copy of that wanted poster for Smalls?
Ah, to put up, I assume. Yes, one moment. I should have some copies. Roll hammer space again. It's a fumble. So Antler reaches behind himself and he does a roll perception. Roll
Okay,
perception, Duster. 8. Oh, roll again, please. I want this to be seen.
please.
16, much better.
16.
Yeah, Antler pulls out what looks to be a handkerchief. Uh, Just a white handkerchief with some like blue embroidery on the edges. And Duster, you catch at a glimpse an embroidered signature XA. Antler does a double take on it before quickly shoving it back behind him.
That's just not
It's
one to
fourth,
cry.
another fumble. Uh, Antler reaches back in, and now he pulls out what looks to be a vial of something of what looks to be like a golden potion. And he now Antler's ear flicks, and he frowns and puts that back behind him. Again,
Uh,
one. Antler reaches back behind him. He pulls out the handkerchief again and just goes, oh, puts it back behind him. One.
I can't believe
Antler
this.
reaches behind him. He now pulls out a different vial of some oozing black liquid. His ears perk up, his eyes widen, and he very quickly puts that back behind him. 10, God. And he finally pulls out the wanted poster of Smalls. And he sighs, and he just hands it over.
You put it like you go to put it at the table. There is like three tinies that just scramble out and like kind of like hold the wanted poster and like they look at it for a second, look at Merchant, look at it for a second, and you, Antler, you just hear like three consecutive like holy shit and yo and, and they drag it off back into the cart.
Antler just watches this, his eyes widen a little bit, and then he just kind of looks over to share a look with Duster.
Duster. Duster.
How's Duster looking?
Duster. Just kind of is giving a blank stare, like what the fuck. If you bother to look over at Merchant, Merchant looks all too smug to now have this wanted poster.
Antler just blinks, like, huh. He was aware there was a history, but okay.
You wouldn't happen to know the size of the paper, would you? I think I'd like it framed.
No.
Oh, that's a disappointment. Well, we'll just have to try whatever we have. And, there is now a new commotion going on at the top of the thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, Antler's ear flicks in that direction for a bit before he just kind of shakes his head a little bit and, well, thank you for your help, I suppose, but now we should be going.
Oh,
And
right,
he's just
of course.
slowly...
Don't be afraid to stop by again.
Until next time. And Antler's just gonna walk out the door. Because that was weird.
I mean, there's no door. It's like a stall.
Yeah,
but...
he just walks out. That was weird.
Yeah.
He doesn't really know what to make. He's actually not sure what to make of all of that.
I mean, you have a tiny right on your shoulder.
No, like he gets that the tinies don't like Smalls, and he could probably understand that they're happy that Smalls is on a wanted poster. I guess he just wasn't expecting to see that reaction to it. To that extent.
Oh god. Yeah. Yeah. You can ask Duster if you want to.
I think
I will say that.
As they're walking, Duster, you'll notice that Antler actually doesn't go straight back towards the castle. He's actually going towards the marketplace, but as he is, so they seemed rather happy.
Merchant is, sort of a, I suppose, safe haven for tinies who've gotten in unfortunate situations, and, trails off there.
An antithetical to Smalls, I would assume.
Yeah. I heard that merchant had a restraining order and everything.
Uh, uh, Antler, uh, raises a hand and clears his throat. I see. And Duster, you see both of Antler's ears wiggle a little bit as he's clearing his throat.
Oh God. Duster does give like a little, does give like an ear twitch. Not like one of his like downwards ones, but like it kind of flickers upwards for a second, and uh, uh
Hmm.
yeah, they don't really like each other at all.
Hmm.
So
Can't imagine why. And I think, unless Duster wants something else to say, I kind of imagine like a mini scene cut. Because this next part is really just Antler doing a quick bit of food shopping.
yeah.
Like,
Duster will like kind of like duck back into like the scruff of the cloak the
yeah,
entire time.
yeah.
Um,
Antler is just getting food. You do notice that he does stop to get a bag of sugar.
Nice.
He doesn't know what you want it for, but apparently you need it for something. So, oh, that was a one.
That's actually a 3. It's supposed to be a +1. I just can't
Ah,
type.
plus, so it's gonna be a three. But for what? Still a low roll.
Don't worry about it.
And
You'll find out later.
oh,
Anyway,
okay. Well,
unless you
either
did want to end this off here after
not.
you guys get back.
I'm imagining the next we cut to back at Ruindal, back in the kitchen as Antler comes in with like shopping bags of groceries, and we'll let Duster out of his cloak and onto the counter, and start
Uh,
putting.
hey Antler.
Oh boy, yeah,
That was a total of 3 on con once again.
con.
Uh,
Oh,
uh,
oh joy.
Duster had predictably been quiet the entire, like quiet and more still, a lot still during the entire trip at the market. Um, I'm sorry for pulling out these spoons now. Um,
Ah, here it comes.
and you go to let like Duster out of the cloak, and Duster, I'm gonna roll a perception to see if he even notices, and I'm going to roll at disadvantage because that's a 9. No, uh, there is not a response. Uh,
So Antler is just holding this like. I just imagine Antler is just holding this numb rat in his hand.
did
He's
you pick up the rat?
he was like he offered his hand to the rat to put him on the counter. So if the rat has not gotten onto his hand, has the rat gotten onto his hand?
No.
Ah, okay. Duster. Duster.
Okay. Lower of those rolls was a 23. Uh,
Nice.
uh, Duster kind of pops his head out of the cloak. Um, hey, you know how you was sketchy earlier?
Yeah, how's he
Uh,
looking?
uh, uh, yeah. It looks like some of his. He doesn't look as, even with his muted colors. He's just kind of sketchy,
Hmm.
and missing a lot of his colors. Uh, and the lines are sketchy, and uh, it's just like, what? Hi. Oh,
Antler.
are we back? Okay, hold on. It's, uh, Duster gets up and doesn't very gracefully walk onto your hand, and
Does he just plop?
uh, kinda, yeah.
Oh my god. Antler looks at this. Both ears are now facing forward towards the rat, eyebrows raised slightly, and he goes, "Ah, well, this has happened. Ah, I should have expected this. All right." And he's gonna,
It's
with a,
fine. I just need to take a nap.
hmm,
It'll be fine.
I'm gonna roll insight because Antler knows what's happening. It's a 14. Uh, uh, does Duster need a nap, or does Duster need to? Uh, Antler knows what's happening, and does Duster know what's happening?
Um, 14. I'm gonna say probably vaguely.
All right.
Uh, you can. He's probably been through one of these before, but based on the fact that um, he said he needed a nap, which this rat usually doesn't admit to needing sleep. Uh, Probably just last time assumed it was just he was tired, so he just napped
Hmm.
through it.
I think
And
Antler's going to. When was the last time you've had a design change?
uh uh um
Upon not receiving an immediate answer, Antler is going to sigh, and still holding Duster in his hand, is going to go over to the kitchen table and take a seat and just carefully place Duster on the table.
it's it's fine. I'll just take take a nap and it'll uh,
Better to get it over with now, otherwise it will hinder you later.
uh, uh, okay. Sure. Yeah. Uh I will say I think Duster does fall asleep during this
Oh,
because last time he just took a nap. Uh
oh, I think Antler doesn't expect that. He just sees he just sees this rat freaking just fall asleep on the table, and he was kind of expecting a bit more. I don't know, a bit more of a show of something. But since I guess he just kind of like raises a hand and nudges Duster a little bit, like Duster, Duster. Hmm. Magic's headphones have ice. Hello.
okay, I'm so sorry. I don't
What
My
happened?
headphones are being weird and they've been constantly like making the disconnect noises.
Oh,
They're like and they just kind of just shut off even though they're plugged in. So, worry. Anyway,
that's weird.
I'm sorry. I miss
Oh,
I missed that.
uh, uh, basically, Antler was not expecting Duster to just full on conk out on the table, and so he kind
Oh
of
yeah.
just raises a hand and just like kind of gently nudges Duster with a finger, like Duster, Duster. Hmm.
Uh Duster just kind of swat like he kind of attempts to swat away your hand, but his lining is just a mess. It's literally nothing, and just flops over to the other side, away from your hand.
This is the part where I roll, where because Antler is considering something, and this is the part where I roll a d2 to see if Antler goes through with it or if he doesn't. And if he does, I will be highly amused, and Antler will not. But
please.
He does it. So Antler looks around the room, and I want to share with the audience what's going through Antler's mind right now. So his employee, the rat, is currently going through a design change, which can take some energy. He's aware of. So it not too surprising that Duster's conked out. However, he is conked out on top of the kitchen table, which probably isn't the best place to rest while going through design change. So Antler has there's a few moments where Antler kind of raises his hands, lowers them back down, raises them towards Duster, lowers them back down, no, and then finally he just groans, rolls his eyes like, he can't believe he's doing this, and he's just going to bring his hands to Duster and just cup them under the rat, slowly pick the rat up, and just he's gonna stand up and start walking out the kitchen towards his room. Has this disturbed Duster at all?
Um, I'm gonna go ahead and actually, I will say Duster was probably like slightly disturbed at being picked up. Uh, def definitely like got him like half awake and kind of like scrambled a little bit before just stopping. Uh,
Does he just curl
not,
up back to sleep?
yeah.
Oh, Antler.
Uh, uh, if you do want to roll insight, you can.
I'll roll insight. I'll roll the heck out of insight. It's an 18.
18. This rat was obviously distressed at being picked up, but uh, yeah.
Seems okay now, at least going back to sleep. Is it?
Uh, yeah.
Or at least too tired to wake back up. Either way, Antler's just gonna like freeze a second, because if Duster wakes up, this is going to be unbearably embarrassing. But seeing as the rat is not waking up, he's going to continue his way to back towards his room. He's going to go inside and look around for a bit, and he looks towards shelf Van D, then towards the bed, and then he thinks to himself, no. He looks at the sleeping rat in his hand, just groans again. And he's just going to begrudgingly go to the bed and just place Duster on top of one of the pillows.
Now have a small sketchy rat on top of your pillows. Congratulations.
Duster like sinks in a little bit. These are very
Oh
like,
yeah.
these are very like they're big. They're very big and very soft pillows. So, Duster, you are now in basically a giant bed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
Duster.
And if Duster doesn't wake up, Antler is just going to, yep, he did that. He did that. He did that. He did that. And he's just thinking that to himself as he is walking out of his room, closing the door behind it. Actually, no, he leaves it a crack open and then heads back towards the kitchen to put the groceries away. Like, yep, he did that. He did that. Oh, why did he do that? Why did he do that? Why did he do that?
Admit you care.
Never.
No. Alright. I will say, Duster probably wakes up later very confused. For multiple reasons.
Yeah.
First of all, when did he get... What? How is he on a pillow? He doesn't own any pillows. This isn't his cave. This is Antler's room.
You'll know Antler is not there when Duster wakes up.
And I suppose I should share the new ref for the audience, huh?
Yup. I imagine Duster wakes back up all shiny and new. Or as shiny and new as Rat Boy gets.
Shiny and new as Rat Boy gets. There you go. Here, take a new ref. For those of you listening, his hair has gotten fluffier. That is one of the most important facts about this design. It's fluffy now. He's got the blue coat that was bought. Uh, he has actual armor, like in his design now. Uh, he's got shin guards and
Braces. Arm
yeah, and
bracers.
bracers.
He's a
Uh,
fashionable rat.
yeah, and his colors are slightly more saturated than they were before, but just slightly. Uh, Duster wakes up very confused. Antler nowhere in sight. Uh,
Do you want to roll
Also,
insight?
I do want to roll insight. Insight is fun.
Yeah, insight is fun.
11.
11. You know what? I'm gonna give you advantage.
Yeah, it's a
9.
9.
Ah. You know what? You know what? You know what? I am DM. I can make rules. So you know what? Peck the dice. Peck the dice. And you know what? And also 11 is above average. So ha! Peck you, D&D. No, I'm sorry, D&D. You're amazing. You're an amazing game format. I'm just peck. Anyways, Duster. So you've woken up in a new room. You've woken up with a new design. It's not obviously you fell asleep because your whole body was going through a design change, and
Yeah.
last you recall you were with Antler when you conked out. So
Uh
it,
huh.
it stands to reason that for some reason Antler decided to move you to a more comfortable or more safer place to change and sleep. You don't know why, but he did that. It's safe to assume that Antler was the one that did that.
I I think Duster's just confused. Duster appreciates the gesture, but also is just confused.
Oh, believe me, he is not the only one.
uh,
And I think
yeah.
if there's anything else,
I will say, Antler, you probably find some. I don't. I don't have like a solid idea in mind for this, but you just kind of sometimes find little like knickknacks laying around your room that you definitely didn't have before.
goes he
Mo-
goes to
most
bed
of them
and
aren't like most of them aren't like shiny or like valuable, but some of them are like nice. Sometimes you find a really neat looking leaf. Uh, just uh, just sort of more things that are kind of duller in color. Uh, More plant based things that
that
you
was,
know.
was a 13 insight to see whether uh, if he could understand what this gesture is, or if someone was just leaving junk in his room.
Um,
It's a 13. It's above a
it's a
10.
13. You can probably surmise that you know, uh, someone found it neat, so they thought you would find it neat, and uh, yeah.
And now this is the part where I roll a d2 again. Okay, thank God. There's now a little jar on the edge of his vanity, uh, filled with said maybe not all the leaves because those crunch easily, but
Yeah.
anything like solid like a button or something is now
A cool looking rock.
yeah, or
Uh,
like a rock is now in the goes into that little jar.
I, uh,
Actually, I lie.
uh,
It lasts maybe a couple days on the vanity before Antler can't stand looking at it, and so he puts it like on a shelf high up. He still puts stuff in it, but he can't like it's too soon for him to recognize that no, I can't look at this day to day and recognize that I'm doing this.
R.I.P. Jester. R.I.P. Antler. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Rest in pieces.
but
Rest
yeah.
rest in pieces. You poor emotionally constipated tunes. I think everyone in the Ruin crew is emotionally constipated, like except Colin.
Colin, Colin, thank you for being emotionally sound.
Well, think about it. Colin's the only one who's gone to therapy. Shout out to Kai's fuck.
Never ending
Yeah,
train.
Never Ending Train. My brain was like Infinity Train, Never Ending Train. Which one was it? Fuck.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
shout out to that. Great therapy. Great therapy. Yeah, great therapy. Anyways,
Great.
so that was I can't think of anything else to add on to that.
No, no.
I think that's a good place to. Well, alright. Alrighty. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Crossing the Clothesline. Uh, yeah. I thought there was going to be a chance for a bit more angst, but that actually ended up being just soft.
Yeah, yeah,
That was just soft, which I liked.
yeah.
Duster deserves soft things.
I promised you'll soft. I'm gonna finally deliver.
Good. Give this rat a break. He'll need it. I say forebodingly. Anyways, I'm gonna stop the
No,
recording now. Thank you all for listening. Hope to see you next time.
wait. Bye, everyone. Fable, what do you mean?
Oh, nothing.